William Carey, the first of her own children of the Reformation, whom England sent forth as a missionary to India, where he became the most extensive translator of the Bible and Sileser, was the son of a weaver, and was himself a village shoemaker till he was 28 years of age. He was born on the 17th August 1761, in the very Midland of England, in the heart of the district which had produced Shakespeare, had fostered Wycliffe and Hooker, had bred Fox and Bunyan, and had for a time been the scene of the lesser lights of John Mason and Doddridge, of John Newton and Thomas Scott. William Cowper, the poet of missions, made the land his chosen home, writing Hope and the Task in Olney, while the shoemaker was studying theology under Sutcliffe on the opposite side of the marketplace. Thomas Clarkson, born a year before Carey, was beginning his assaults on the slave trade, by translating into English his Latin essay on the Day Star of African Liberty when the shoemaker, whom no university knew, was writing his enquiry into the obligations of Christians, to use means for the conversion of the heathens. William Carey bore a name, which had slowly fallen into forgetfulness after services to the Stuarts, with whose cause it had been identified. Professor Stephens, of Copenhagen, traces it to the Scando-Anglian Car, Caer or Care, which became a place name as Car-Ey. Among scores of neighbors called William of Car-Ey would soon sink into Carey, and this would again become the family name. In Denmark the name Carey is common. The oldest English instance is the Cariot who coined money in London for Thelred II, in 1016. Certainly the name, through its forms of Crew, Carew, Carey, and Carey, still prevails on the Irish coast, from which depression of trade drove the family first to Yorkshire, then to the Northamptonshire village of Yelvertoft, and finally to Polersbury, farther south, as well as over the whole Danegeld from Lincolnshire to Devonshire. If thus there was Norse blood in William Carey, it came out in his persistent missionary daring, and it is pleasant even to speculate on the possibility of such an origin in one who was all his Indian life indebted to Denmark for the protection which alone made his career possible. The Careys who became famous in English history sprang from Devon. For 2.5 centuries, from the second Richard to the second Charles, they gave statesmen and soldiers, scholars and bishops, to the service of their country. Henry Carey, first cousin of Queen Elizabeth, was the common ancestor of two ennobled houses long since extinct, the Earls of Dover and the Earls of Monmouth. A third peerage won by the Careys has been made historic by the patriotic counsels and self-sacrificing fate of Viscount Falkland, whose representative was Governor of Bombay for a time. Two of the heroic Falkland's descendants, aged ladies, addressed a pathetic letter to Parliament about the time that the great missionary died, praying that they might not be doomed to starvation, by being deprived of a crown pension of £80 a year. The older branch of the Careys also had fallen on evil times, and it became extinct, while the future missionary was yet 4 years old. The seventh Lord was a weaver, when he succeeded to the title, and he died childless.